Hey Tiffany, great to see you. I'm so excited for this.
Hey, me too. Okay, I just want to make sure you can see me, right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a good setup.
Yeah, this is like my little yoga studio slash gym in my house.
I love it. I love the vibes, like so tranquil.
I like it. It's kind of like a little escape when I need a break from like work.
It's honestly perfect. Yeah, I can see why you enjoy practicing there.
Hey, Sue.
Tiffany.
Yeah, it's great to see Sue here as well. So I'm gonna, Tiffany, I've spotlighted you for so everybody can see you.
Okay,
But
awesome.
yeah, I'm just going to just give me one moment. I'm just gonna post in the group that we're live, and then we can take it away. Uh,
And I just want to check my sound. So let me know when you're ready. Because I won't be able to hear you when I plug this one in.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, feel free. You take it away. I'm going to mute myself and just enjoy this.
Can you
Okay,
mute me as well,
awesome.
Carson?
Hear
Or
even over here. Yay! Well, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me, Tarzan. I love sharing yoga with anyone that will let me. So I have a fun little practice planned for us. Lots of requests in the group for lower back tightness, hip mobility, hip suppleness, all really amazing areas for equestrian athletes to focus on. So I hope you guys love it, and I'm so excited to share this yoga for equestrians practice with you. If you have a yoga block, grab your yoga block. If you do not have a block, you can do this whole practice without any props whatsoever. But if you have a block available, just bring it close by to your mat. We're gonna start on our backs. So just making your way down. And we're gonna start our practice today in constructive rest. So as you lay down on your mat here, bend your knees, walk your feet out so that they're about mat width distance, and just let your knees rest together. So right away, we'll just start to bring a little body awareness to the hips and the center of the body. So as you're laying here in this nice relaxed position, just start to kind of notice how your hips feel, how your lower back feels. And if you feel any amount of tightness or tension as you're laying here, just lift your hips and just ever so slightly tuck your tailbone. So you can feel that lengthening in the lower lumbar spine. And just find a comfortable spot for your arms. We'll begin by just shifting the awareness to the breath here. So you can gently close your eyes or just soften your gaze on a point, maybe on your ceiling, or if it is comfortable for you, letting your eyes close and just start to shift your awareness to your breath. One of my favorite breath work practices when I'm about to ride, or if I'm having a lesson and just need a little bit more mental clarity and focus, is Samavriti breathing. So that is the yoga breath work that we also known as box breath. So all that means is just as an equal ratio of our breath. So as you start to breathe in through your nose, just find a natural count to your breath. So that could be 2, 3, or 4. Pause for that same length of time at the top of your inhale. And then just find a natural exhale out for that same length. Pause at the bottom of your exhale for maybe 2, 3, or 4. And then you'll begin that box breath cycle all over again. So the number doesn't really matter so much. What matters is that we're making each portion of the breath a really equal ratio. And we all breathe at different rates, paces, depths. So just find a number that works well for you. So this breathwork practice helps to bring about some mental clarity and focus through recalibrating our nervous system. So when we shift our awareness to our breath, it helps us to build more resiliency in our nervous system so that when things don't exactly go as planned, which often happens in the horse world, we're able to find a balance no matter what is happening around us. The more we do this and practice on our yoga mats, the more accessible this becomes to us off our mats. So take a couple more rounds of breath like that. Maybe set an intention for your practice today, a focal point. If you don't have a particular intention, you can let your horse be your focal points, your riding, your own body, or your own breath. At the bottom of your last exhale like that, just find a natural, easy rhythm with your breath. So just an easy breath in through your nose, out through your nose. And then start to walk your feet back in so that they're about hip-width distance here. Find some little windshield wipes, letting your knees fall over to the left and then over to the right. So just gently getting some movement back into the hips and the lower back here. And if you notice that one side feels extra nice or even a little tight, you can just kind of hang out there. Take a couple of breaths and then over to the other side. So for me, I always feel a little tighter in my right hip. So when my knees fall to the left, I feel a little bit more of a stretch there in the right hip flexors. So it can be helpful to just rebalance through these simple movements. And then bringing your knees back up through center, draw your right knee in towards your chest here, interlace your fingers on top of your shin, and you can keep this left knee bent, or you can start to extend your left leg long. So just bringing awareness to your lower back if you're extending your leg. If you notice that your pelvis wants to kind of come into that like anterior tilt, draw your lower ribs together, take a little bit of that space out of your lower back. So there's this really dynamic interaction with the hip flexors, especially the psoas. So keep hugging this right knee in, getting a little compression there. Take a nice deep breath, really fill up your lungs. And then as you exhale, maybe hugging that right knee a little bit more towards your shoulder. So just a slight little external rotation. And then we're gonna keep a hold of this right knee, but you can let your left hand come to your left hip. Start to find some little circles with that right hip. Drawing circles in one direction and then the other. So just kind of getting a sense of the mobility in the hip there. One of the cool things about yoga is we do everything on one side and then the other, so it gives us this really great opportunity to just check in and notice what is going on in our body. So just kind of observing, no judgment, there's no right, there's no wrong. And then bring that knee back through center. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee, and then we'll take that leg all the way across your body. So roll all the way over onto your left side. So your left hip, your left shoulder. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, you're gonna open that right arm out to the side, coming into a supine twist here. So gazing over the right shoulder, and this left hand is just there, gently pressing the right knee down. Breathing into the right rib, so notice how dynamic your breath is. So as you breathe in, your rib cage will just separate, stretching the intercostal muscles there between the ribs. And then as you breathe out, see how you can just relax into this. So finding that balance and effort and ease in all things. That also translates to our writing as well. Take one more deep breath. And then as you exhale, release your twist, come back through center. Hug your left knee back into your chest. So you can reach around your shins, maybe reach for your wrists, your forearms. You can even curl up into a little tiny ball here if that feels good to you. And then lay your head back onto your mat. Keep your left knee hugging in. You can bring that right foot onto your mat. An option to keep that right knee bent, or you can start to extend your right leg long. So again, just kind of noticing what happens with the lower back when we extend that right leg. So if you notice that your lower back kind of gets that extension or arch, draw your low ribs together, bringing a little bit of that space out of the lower back. And then we'll keep that left knee hugging in, drawing the left knee over towards your shoulder just a little bit, finding that slight little external rotation through the hip. Take a nice big breath in, and then exhale. So keep a hold of your left shin with that left hand. You can release your right hand, maybe take your right hand onto your right hip. Start to find those hip circles, circling the left hip one direction and then the other. So notice what might feel different on this side. So we often feel stronger or weaker or more mobile one side versus the other. And this is really good information for us, especially if we're trying to be really balanced and symmetrical riders, because our horses also notice all those things as well. I know mine do. And then bringing your left knee back in towards center. Take your right hand to the outside of that left knee and guide your leg all the way across your body. So roll all the way over onto your right shoulder and your right hip. Reach your left arm up towards the sky. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, opening up into your twist, extending your left arm out. So gazing over the left shoulder, coming into that nice rotation. Breathing into your left ribs, so nice big breaths in. And then slow breath out, seeing how you can relax into the shape a little more. Finding that balance and effort and ease. Take one more deep breath here. And then as you exhale, roll back through center, coming out of your twist, hugging your right knee back in. So this time, maybe curl up into a little tiny ball. See how that feels. And then lay your head back onto your mat. Bring your feet down onto your mat and find one of your blocks. So just grabbing that, coming onto your back, rest your head. We're gonna move into a supported bridge. So just press into your feet, lift your hips up, and then slide your block on the lowest setting, probably, maybe the medium. That always feels a little too much for me. So just kind of see how that feels in your body. I like the low setting. And let your hips just rest on your block. So let this be a little less of a back bend and more about opening the front of the hips. Bring your hands right by your hips and just pick your shoulders up. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath your body. Take a nice deep breath. And then slow breath out. One more like that. Big breath in and breath out. Press into your feet. Lift your hips up enough so you can slide your block out from underneath you. And then roll down bone by bone. Letting your tailbone be the last to land. Take your knees side to side here. Find those little windshield wipes. Left and right. And then coming back up through center. Bring both knees in to your chest. And then we'll start to find a little rock and roll forward and back. So you can do this a couple times. If for whatever reason that doesn't feel good, I know sometimes if you have like a sinus thing or vertigo, just roll over to one side. And then we're gonna make our way into a tabletop position. So eventually coming on to hands and knees. Wrists come right underneath your shoulders. Your knees are directly underneath your hips. So index fingers pointing straight ahead. Bend your elbows here and really wrap your triceps in towards the midline. So if you look at your elbow creases, they be facing a little more forward rather than in. Gather your shoulder blades together. Take a couple rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, lift your chin, lift your tailbone. And then exhale, tuck your chin around your spine. Actively press into your hands. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Good, and just take a couple rounds like this, starting to really connect your breath with your movement and this sort of moving meditation that we're creating with our body, with our breath today. Maybe even close your eyes here and just really notice what is going on within. Good, and then come back through center, finding that neutral tabletop position. On your inhale, reach your left arm up towards the sky, and then find some big shoulder circles. So reaching your hand down, around, forward, and back. Good, and then switch directions. Go the opposite way. So our shoulders are, those ball and socket joints. They should have mobility in all directions, but that's not always true in every situation. So just kind of notice what your range is. And then take your left arm up, take a breath in. As you exhale, thread your left arm underneath. Place your ear and your shoulder on your mat, and then take that right arm overhead. So press into your fingertips. Feel that opening through the upper back and the side body along this right side. So if you want to add a little balance challenge here, actively press into the back of your left hand, start to extend your right leg back behind you. Maybe you start to float that right foot. So it doesn't really matter how high you lift, just a little balance challenge. That's pretty safe because we're already on the floor. Awesome. Yeah, so if you lifted that right leg, slowly bring the right knee back to meet the left. Walk your right hand underneath your right shoulder. Reach your left arm all the way up. And then take that left hand back onto your mat and your tabletop. Sweep your right arm up to the sky. And then we'll find those big shoulder circles reaching down, around, forward. So circling one direction and then the other. And just notice what might feel different on this side as well. Tuning in. Make sure you go both directions. Good, and then reaching that right arm all the way up. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, thread it underneath, placing your right ear, your right shoulder on your mat, and then take your left hand up top of your mat, finding that stretch through the left side body. Good, and if you want to add that little balance challenge, you can start to extend your left leg back, maybe floating that left foot. Awesome. So good. If you lifted your left leg, bring your left knee back onto your mat. Take that left hand underneath your shoulder, release your right arm all the way up. Take a deep breath. And then exhale, tabletop. So next we'll come into our puppy pose. So keeping your hips stacking right over your knees here, just walk your hands out in front of you, let your heart melt down towards your mat. So you can bring your forehead all the way down if that feels like a far reach for you. You can bring your block underneath your forehead as well. So nice opening through the upper back here. As you're here, taking those deep breaths, really try to send your breath to the back of your heart space. So feeling all of that breath filling up your lungs from the bottom of your lungs all the way up to the top. Good, and then begin to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders, coming back through tabletop. Take a couple rounds of cat-cow here as a little reset. Good, and then making your way back through center, nice neutral tabletop position. Go ahead and tuck your toes under and just sit your hips back towards your heels. So a little stretch for the toes and the plantar fascia. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, slowly straighten your legs, lifting your hips up, downward facing dog. So just walk your feet out in this first one, bending one knee and then the other. Maybe lift and lower your heels. Shake your head no, shake your head yes. Let go of any tension that may be left in your shoulders or your neck. And then look between your hands, take little baby steps all the way up to the top of your mat, forward fold. Separate your feet so that they're about hip-width distance, so you can bring your two fists together in between your feet. That is about hip-width for you. Bend your knees generously so that you can just let your whole upper body rest on your legs. Reach for opposite elbows. Sway side to side. So making this a nice passive stretch here. Good, and then coming back through center, release your hands. Bring your palms up to your shins. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. So send the crown of your head forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then maybe fly your arms. Take a deep breath as you exhale, fold forward. So do two more like that. Inhale, halfway lift, so you can fly your arms or just squeeze your shoulder blades. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Keep your knees bent. Slowly curl up to stand. Stacking your vertebrae bone by bone. When you get up to the top, shrug your shoulders all the way up by your ears. And then roll your shoulders back, palms face forward. On your inhale, reach your arms overhead. And then as you exhale, we're gonna take a side bend to the right. So reach up and over. Inhale, come back through center. And then exhale, other way. So you're making that little half moon shape. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your palms through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. So maybe fly your arms or hands to shins. Really squeeze your shoulder blades to feel that connection through your upper back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees a lot so you can place your hands on your mat. Step your left foot all the way to the back of your mat. And then lower your left knee, untuck your toes. Walk your hands up to your right thigh. And then draw your tailbone down towards the floor. Lengthen the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. So I already feel a nice little stretch in the left quads and the left hip flexors. That is good. If it feels too intense, just walk this right foot in a little closer. Reach your arms overhead. And then we're going to take that side bend over to the right. So you can reach your right fingertips down, left arm reaching overhead. And then inhale, come up through center. As you exhale, take a little back bend, lifting your heart, curl your shoulders back. Inhale, come through center. And then as you exhale, half splits. So taking your fingertips to your mat, straighten that right leg to your flexibility. And again, you can get your block, place your block to the inside of your right foot. If the floor feels like a far reach. So feeling a nice stretch in the right hamstrings. Good, and then rebend your right knee. We're gonna find a little flow. So as you inhale, reach your arms overhead. And then your exhale, take your side bend. Inhale up through center. Exhale, little back bend. Good, inhale, center. Exhale, half splits. So that's our little flow, one breath to one movement. So on your inhale, rebend your knee, reach your arms up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, little back bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, half splits. Good, we'll do one more. Inhale to your low lunge. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, half splits. And we'll just stay in these half splits. You can take your block or your hands all the way around over towards your right hip. So just flexing your right ankle, keeping that leg a little active. This is a good one for the hips. And then start to walk your hands back through center. Rebend your right knee, and you can move your block out of your way. Tuck your back toes under, straighten through your left leg. Leave your left hand, reach your right arm up. Little twist. Maybe take that right hand around your back for your hip crease. Nice shoulder opener. Then reach your right arm back up. Take a nice big breath. As you exhale, frame your front foot with your hands. Step your left foot up to meet your right. Forward fold. So separating your feet, hips width. Find a little sway, side to side. And then coming back through center. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe fly your arms. Exhale, fold forward. On your inhale, rise all the way up. Palms touch at the top. Exhale, forward, fold. Coming all the way back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then bring your hands onto your mat. Step your right foot all the way back this time. Lowering your right knee. Untuck your toes. And then walk your hands up to this left thigh. So bring your awareness to the right hip. So feel that opening in the right hip flexors, maybe even the quads. If that feels just too intense, you can scoot this left foot a little closer. If it doesn't feel intense enough, take the left foot a little further away. So think of drawing your tailbone down towards the floor, but lifting the crown of your head. So that balance, light and effortless in the upper body, but a little work to keep the pelvis neutral in the lower body. When you're ready, take your arms overhead, and then we'll come into our side bend. So let your left hand drop down, reach up and over with your right, and then come back through center. Exhale, take a little back bend, curl your shoulders back. Uh-oh, I have a message. Good, and then coming back through center. Yes, sorry, I had an error message. And then as you exhale, you'll come into your half split so you can set up your block here, straighten that front leg. Good. So just finding that nice stretch through the left hamstrings. Good. And then start to rebend your left knee. Come back into your low lunge. Arms reach up, take a breath. As you exhale, find your side bend. Inhale up through center. Exhale, a little back bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, half splits. Yes. And then flowing through that, one breath to one movement. Inhale to your low lunge. Exhale, side bend. Beautiful. Inhale up through center. Exhale, a little back bend. And then inhale, center. Exhale, half splits. Beautiful. Moving with your breath. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, a little back bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, half splits. And then last time, we'll stay in our half splits. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, a little back bend. Inhale, center. And then exhale, half splits. Staying here to enjoy the stretch. So option to take your hands all the way around to your left hip. Keep flexing your left ankle there to keep that left leg active. Awesome. Take one more breath. Start to walk your hands back around. So you can move your block off to the side. Tuck your back toes under, straighten through your right leg. Leave your right hand grounded. Reach your left arm up for your twist. Maybe take that left hand around your back for a little shoulder opener. Good, and then reach your left arm back up. Take a breath in. Exhale, frame your front foot. Step your right foot up to meet your left, forward, fold. Reach for opposite elbows. Take a little sway, side to side. And then come through center. Find your block if you have it. And bring it just in front of your feet. Slowly curl up to stand. So we're gonna do just a little tiny little exercise for hip stability. So that's a really big one for equestrians. So I like to do this on the block. So take your block on the lowest setting. Here, I'll come off of my mat so you can see my block. Since my block is black as well. So what we're gonna do here is focus on stability through the hips. So just stand with your feet hips width and shift your weight all the way over to your right foot and just kind of notice what happens through your hips. So as you shift your weight over to that right foot, do you have a tendency to kind of drop one hip or dip into the right hip? Press down through your right foot so you have this line of energy all the way up through your femur into your hip socket. And then you can lift your left leg. So your balance, when you're nice and stable through your hips here, one, your leg becomes a lot freer. So you can kind of move that left foot. Check it out. So when we're riding, we need to stay stable through our hips, but our legs have to function independently, right? So maybe find some little hip circles with that left leg. And then notice how the glute med here stabilizes the hips, right? So place your left foot down, feel your feet connected, start to shift your weight to your left foot. And then press, keep pressing down. Feel that line of energy all the way up into the hip socket. You can bend that right knee. Keep that connection, maybe extend the leg. Find a little movement here. So if you've had an injury on one side, like a few years ago, I tore my Achilles on my left. So this one's a lot harder for me. And I noticed that in my riding too, it's a little more difficult for me to use my right leg aids. So all of this translates to what our horses feel too. Good. So once you have a sense of that, one side may feel easier or harder, that's okay. Then we're going to add an extra layer of challenge by stepping onto the block. So place your right foot on the middle of your block. So just make sure you're stepping in the middle of it. Shift your weight over into that right foot, and then bring your left foot hovering. Check in with your hips and make sure that your hips are nice and level. You can even bring your hands to your hip points as a little guide, and then bend your left knee. Start to find a little movement. Swinging your leg forward and back. Same thing. Just now, it's a little harder to keep the hips stable because our leg is truly hovering. Yes. Good. And then open that left knee. Place your left foot to your calf or your inner thigh for your tree pose. Come back to your breath. Maybe grow your branches. Beautiful. Start to gather your hands back together. And then just hover that left foot. And then slowly release your left foot, stepping off of your block. And then we'll do that same little exercise with the left foot on the block. So again, just making sure that you're standing right in the middle of your yoga block, shifting your weight into your left foot, hover your right foot perfectly level, check in with your hips, and then when you're ready, you can find those movements with the right hip, swinging the leg forward, back. So you can almost even imagine like the positioning of your leg when you're at the walk, trot versus like giving your canter aids. Good. And then bring your knee up, open your right hip, place your foot to your calf or maybe your inner thigh there. Find your balance in your tree pose. And then you can grow your branches. So coming back to your breath here. Beautiful. Start to gather your hands back together at your heart. And then just release your right foot, hover. And slowly stepping your right foot down, coming off of your block, and then making your way back top of your mat. On your inhale, reach your arms overhead. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Place your hands on your mat. Step your feet all the way back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet out, bend one knee and then the other. And then lower your knees down onto your mat. Swing your legs around in front of you. So we'll take a seated pigeon variation. I really like this one because it gives a really nice stretch for the outer hip, but without all the compression in the hip and the knee. So for this one, bend your knees, but keep your feet kind of far away from your body. Walk your hands back behind you and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. So it's just like your normal pigeon, but without all the weight in the knee. So you can find a little rock side to side here. And then if you want a little more of a stretch, you can slide that left foot in a little closer to your body. Keep lifting your chest. Oh, did I freeze up? Sorry. I keep getting this like error message. Good, and then just coming back through center, uncrossing your right ankle, extend your leg out long, tuck your left foot into your right inner thigh, reach your arms overhead, take a breath, and then exhale, fold over the right leg. Releasing your hands, come up through center, extend your left leg out, bend your knees, and slide your feet a little far away from your body at first. Bring your hands behind you. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh this time for your seated pigeon. Maybe find that little rock side to side. Nice little stretch for the left hip. If you need a little deeper stretch, you can always slide that right foot in a little closer. Take a couple of nice big breaths here. Good, and then coming back through center, uncross your left leg, extend that left leg out, tuck your right foot into your left thigh, reach your arms overhead, deep breath. Exhale, fold over your left leg. Good, and then releasing your hands, stretch your right leg out and just scoot down towards the top of your mat. Extend your arms out in front of you, sit up super, super tall. Take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, roll down. Reach your arms overhead, get a nice big stretch here. And then bring both knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your shins, take a little rock side to side. And then lay your head back onto your mat. Extend your legs straight up towards the ceiling for our last little inversion here. Legs up the wall. If you have it available to you in your space, you can actually put your legs up the wall. And if not, if you're in the middle of the room, I'll give you an option. Good, so just closing your eyes here. Take a nice deep breath in. And just open your mouth, exhale. Sigh it all out. Start to read in your knees. Bring your feet back onto your mat. And then walk your feet out mat width. So we'll end our practice just like we started in constructive rest. If you had your legs up a physical wall, you can just stay right there. So letting your knees rest together. Closing your eyes, taking a couple of moments. Setting an intention for the rest of your day, or just bringing your awareness back to your intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. And as you feel ready, just gently making your way over to your favorite side, using your top hand to support you as you come up into a seated position. We'll take one breath together. So as you inhale, reach your arms overhead, gather in all that good energy created in your practice. As you exhale, press your palms together, bring your hands together at your heart. Thank you so very much for practicing with me today. It is my honor to share this yoga practice with you. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste.
Namaste, Sensei. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I hope that was
Uh,
helpful and felt good in your body.
It was brilliant, Tiffany. It was fantastic.
Well, thank you
Namaste.
again for letting me do this. This was so much fun.
Honestly, the pleasure was all ours, I think. Yeah, I feel great after doing that. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for joining us, Sue. And I hope you guys love the replay. Let me know if you have any questions at all.
Yes, yeah, I can't wait to get the replay up. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Tiffany. Loved it.
you're
Um,
welcome.
we will see everybody soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
see you guys soon. Bye.